I started the wealth formula probably at the start of the year. Something that's been buzzing around in my head for ages. How do we help people that want to make more money, start a side hustle, get a bit more balance? So the idea of the wealth formula is very, very simple. It's about finding that balance between three things: making more money, spending your money that you've already got more mindfully. That's the second thing. And then balancing both of those with what you actually want to do with your life. So I'll give you an example. If your greatest joy in life is attending pub gigs, right? You like watching, joining, listening, following the bands. If that's what you like doing, then you ought to be trying to figure out your life so you can do more and more of that. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. There's no point, for example, working horrendously long hours in a business you hate or in a job you hate if you're doing it because you've got this vague idea about going a bit further. And that's what the wealth formula is all about. It's how do you find that balance, making money, saving money, and doing what you want with life. So let's get into episode 3 now of the wealth formula. And I want to talk about how to find your passion. I will take questions, comments, observations after I've gone through some of the key ideas here, but I really want you to dial into this. If you ever find yourself scrolling on this platform, if you ever find yourself Googling one night, how do I make money? How do I monetize my socials? What do I do where I can sell stuff without having to actually talk to people? If you ever find yourself doing that, then I have a really fundamental question for you, which is what is it you actually want to do with your life? Because this is it, right? This is your one go on this spinning rock. And what most people do is they never really figure out what they want to do. And I'm at pains to explain to you whatever you want to do is entirely up to you. It's your one go on this rock. I will take questions, comments, observations in a moment, but for the moment, I just want to give you some key ideas about this idea of find your passion. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when they start looking for a side hustle, for a little business, for a way to make more money, is they accept every possible thing going. It's that new shiny toy syndrome. And I understand it because I fall prey to it a little bit myself. One of the things I have to do, in fact, is to have my AI assistant kind of check with me anytime I wanted to do something, whether or not this is something I should be doing. So I'll give you a couple of thoughts. One of my key drivers in life is to build my profile. I build my profile because it supports my business. It supports my business because that makes more money, right? So there's a reason for it all. So what does that mean? Well, it means that right now I'm working on both TikTok and Insta. It means that I'm building this podcast. It means that I'm very happy to post stuff out on, for example, LinkedIn. It means I'm starting to put out music under a project name of Dublin. But I don't really expect Dublin to go anywhere. I don't really expect to get mega listens on Spotify. If that happens, it'll be a nice thing, but it means that that's kind of where I stop. So, in terms of me creatively putting more stuff out for Dublin, which I enjoy and helps my profile, it makes sense. But it doesn't make sense for me to promote that project of Dublin because I'm not a musician. That's never really going to be where I'm wanting to go. So, my question to you, right? And this isn't to you as the group, there's 22 of you in the room right now. But my question to you right now is what is it you actually want to get out of life? Now, if you want to type in the answer, you can do. I'm not picking up answers just yet. If you just want to think what that is, but why are you doing what you're doing? So here's a tricky question. If you have a job right now, why do you work there? Now I'll give you some potential answers because I need the money. All right, fine, but why there? Well, because that's where my dad worked. That's where my mum got my foot in the door. That's just kind of how it ended up. I speak, and if this is you, then this is aimed at you, right? I speak to so many people who don't know why they do the job they do. And if that's you, of course we have bills to pay. Of course we have liabilities and obligations. We have perhaps family in our lives. We have people we need to look after. We have a lifestyle we wish to pay for. And I'll come to that in a second. But my first challenging question to you is why do you do what you do? How comfortable are you with your job? That's a classic question, right? If you won the lottery tonight, would you go back to work tomorrow? Here's the weird thing. I would probably be back in this office. I'd probably still be using my two monitors here, creating various bits and pieces because I love doing what I do. When I started my business 30 years ago, I had this idea. What is it actually I really want to get? What I wanted to get was to not work for a living. That was it. I didn't have a figure in mind, a number of amount of money. I didn't have a number of hours I wanted to work. I didn't have a thing I wanted to achieve. What I wanted was not to work. There's a couple of people typing in your things at the moment, which is lovely to see. But most people's aims and objectives, as defined by Insta or TikTok or Facebook or wherever you like to go, most people's aims are a little bit unrealistic, not because they couldn't be done, but because they don't apply themselves to do what they want to do. You see, my passion is rooted in what I do. I like talking to cameras. I like being on stage. I like talking to people. I like helping people. I like saying stuff in a way that people go, haha, and make that big leap. I like being entertaining, whilst at the same time people go, oh, I found that really helpful. All of that appeals to me. The secondary outcome of all of that is I make great money and I have a lot of control over my own time. Now, it doesn't mean I don't work long hours because I really do. But those are the questions that I would ask you right now. I will take questions, comments, observations. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Leon. In a moment, but I want you to understand this because I'm making this right now for my podcast. My podcast is called Wealth Formula. There are two episodes out at the moment. One 2 months ago, one month ago. I'm going to be continuing to make episodes here on Lives. If we get any kind of following for it, if we build it up, I will be doing podcasts with people who like my work. But this is my question. Why do you do what you do? I do what I do because I love doing those things, and those things give me control over my time. And that's a massive, massive up. I don't tend to get told what to do by people. My clients, of course, tell me what they want, but that's usually a respectful two-way conversation. And if it's not, they're paying me very well, so I don't care. And I get well paid. So I've largely done what I've wanted to do for 30 days. Here's the thing. I know that when I talk to people my age who have worked for somebody for 30 years, some of them feel blessed, feel delighted, feel respected by their employers, feel like they're doing something important. Other people, on the other hand, go to work because they've got the bills to pay. They feel like their boss is an idiot, treats them badly. There's the politics, there's the bad stuff, there's the colleagues. And so, my question to you is why do you do what you do? What's your passion? What's the thing you want to get out of life? Because if you can make your work mirror your passion, then your work gets a whole lot easier. If I look at all my side hustles, and I'll talk about where I've gone wrong with side hustles in a moment, and if this helps you, good. I work well when I'm teaching people and when I'm being at the center of attention, frankly, when I'm being entertaining, which is why I started working in the space of corporate training. It's why corporate training has led me to work with individuals as I am now, as opposed to just working with clients. I've worked in 35 countries. I've spoken with hundreds of organizations, tens of thousands of learners, right? It's been an absolute blast and I still love it. I love putting out content on socials that people find entertaining or challenging or amusing. So even when I'm doing the suck here, not very good impressions of Keir Starmer, or I'm doing the couple law videos that I put out on this platform, they're all about, for me, building that profile, which builds back to people falling into my orbit, which falls back to people going, this is kind of interesting. Could we talk a bit about this, please? And so where we end up with all of this, and this is what I want you to consider, is why do you do what you do? What is your passion in life? If you didn't have to go to work tomorrow, would you go? Because if not, maybe you're doing the wrong thing. Now, you might already know that. And maybe you need to make more money. Wealth formula is about three central concepts: make more money, spend your money more carefully, and find the balance in your life. I make great money. I'm quite careful about how I spend it, and I love doing what I'm doing. Not many of us can say that. Here's a further test for you. How do you feel Sunday night, Monday morning? How do you feel the night before you have to go back to work, your shift, your slot, your on time, whatever's relevant to you? I love going back to work on the first day after some time off. How do you feel the day before time off, before a weekend? Woohoo! I never really like it because I'm going to step away from work. This isn't about me. This is giving you an example of what finding your passion looks like. And this is why so many people fail at side hustles, because they get caught up in what's shiny and what's new. They get caught up in the sales pitch. Now, I'm going to give you an offer, which, if you were cynical, you could say is a sales pitch. Difference is, I'm not asking for money for any of mine. You don't need a credit card to access any of mine. So not really a sales pitch. I have a thing called Wealth Formula. You can find it via my profile, my link tree. That will take you to a number of buttons you can choose. There's a WhatsApp group that I've literally just launched. It's got one follower at the moment. One of the people who's joined the Wealth Formula said you should get a WhatsApp group. So I'll set that up. When I make announcements now, they come via the WhatsApp group. It's just a channel. So it's anonymous. You just follow it. You then get the information. There is a community that's free, no credit cards. That has lots of information about what I'm talking about now, finding your passion. I'm going to go into some more detail in a minute. And there's the podcast and a couple of other bits and pieces you can do. The aim of all of this should be, the aim of your approach to this should be, if you decide you need to make more money, pick something that marries what you're already good at, what you like doing. I see people ask me all the time, what's a good side hustle for somebody who's 25, lives at home, blah, blah, blah? What's a good side hustle for somebody who's 50, who's going back to work after some time off with the kids? What's a good side hustle for somebody who's 35, doesn't have great mobility, but? And those are the wrong questions. This is the fundamental, central point of find your passion that I want you to consider right now. This is possibly the most important thing you're going to hear today. All right. What do you like doing? What are you good at doing? Now, let's take your job that you do at the moment, your actual main job. Do you like doing it? Brilliant. Are you good at doing it? I assume you're good enough, or you'd have been sacked by now. Now, your passion, however, might be completely different. You might work in a shop or a restaurant. You might work as a driver. You could work in an office. You could be working in the fitness industry, right? I don't know. I'm going to assume you have some enjoyment of what you do and you make okay money, but you'd like to make more money. Now, here's the problem. If you use this platform or people who try and sell you programs to buy their thing, that's nearly always going to fail. Not that there is anything wrong with what they're selling you, sometimes, but not always, but because you haven't found your passion. If you work, what was the examples I just gave? If you work in the fitness industry, you work in a local gym, right? So you put your shift in, you don't get paid, I imagine, a lot of money. You might get paid for doing some lessons, whatever. I don't know. But if you love doing that, if that's your life, there is virtually no point looking for a side hustle that isn't linked in some way to that world. Because if you find it linked in some way to that world, you're going to be good enough at it already and you love doing it. And when you first start a side hustle, you don't really know what you're doing. You've got to build an audience. You've got to find where your money's going to come from. You've got to get the pricing right. And all of these things get difficult, right? By the way, if you're enjoying this, this is going to be on the podcast, the Wealth Formula. It's called the Wealth Rant. It's the podcast for the Wealth Formula. That's how you follow me. If you do like it, just give the screen a tap. That's if you're watching this live, as you are right now. So, what most people do is they get caught up in the marketing. Now, you'll notice that when I mentioned the Wealth Formula, I told you a couple of things. First of all, I don't charge for it. There's no credit card required. It's not like a trial period. It's free. You can join it for free. Now, the reason is I want you talking to other people in the same situation. Now, you might talk to somebody who, like you, hates their job, but needs to pay the bills, right? And the two of you have got two different life paths. One of you is a driver. The other one is cooking in a Weatherspoons, right? So you've got two different people. You do your job, you make your money. It's kind of okay to pay the bills. How do you find your passion? That's the value of a community that I'm talking about. And you shouldn't be paying for that, which is why it's a free community. What I want is people to come in and be able to find the thing they want to do. Where you go wrong is you're scrolling through one night and then Gary Vee turns up and he says you should be on Whatnot selling Pokemon cards. And you think, yeah, I could do that. I've got some old Pokemon cards. I know a bit about them. Oh my gosh, Gary Vee says I should sell them on Whatnot. That's what I'm going to do. So you then get yourself set up on Whatnot. You get an account set up, and then you switch it on. You think, oh gosh, that looks a bit rough. So you buy yourself a green screen, as I've got behind me. You buy yourself a big light. You might buy a little light for the side. You get a load of display things. You get a load of stuff set up. You get everything made. You think, oh, I'm going to need to hook up to collect the money. I'm going to need to do all these things. And the first time you go live, you're an absolute bag of nerves. Why? Because you hate doing it, because it's not your passion. You see the problem here? If you don't like talking to a camera, as I am right now, no amount of downloading a special system to learn how to sell on Whatnot is going to help you. Now, I could do Whatnot because I'm very comfortable talking to a camera, as you can see. I could buy a product that is a low price that people want. I could sit and talk about it all day long. I could set up in my screen here, my studio. I could have all sorts of stuff going on. But you know why I'm not going to do that? I'm not going to do it because it's not what I want to do. I don't want to run a shop. Why don't I run a TikTok shop? I've got a 350,000 following on TikTok alone. I could bring some of the people over from Insta. I could be selling stuff 12 hours a day. I can talk comfortably. I have the ability in this space, but I don't run a shop. Why? Because I've got no passion for it. So if I were to be working in a normal job and think, oh, I know, I'm going to set up a TikTok shop. Lots of people talk about it. There's always adverts from people saying you can make loads of money. I'll buy this guy's template guide for 500 quid or 50 quid or whatever he's going to charge me. I'll do all of this stuff. Then day one, I set up, I switch on, and I just go, oh, this is awful. And if you are trying to start side hustles or businesses or extra things, or you're trying to make more money, this is almost certainly where you're going wrong. You're starting from believing the hype. What you should be doing, join the Wealth Formula community. It's free. You can talk to other people. You can get ideas from me for free. As I build that, I will start a charging station, a charging level, but at the moment it's all completely free, right? I will offer a ongoing coaching process. I will be offering other bits of details in, but that will come down the line. At the moment, it's all free. Just as a quick check-in, by the way, for those of you watching this live right now, this is being recorded for the podcast number 3 of the Wealth Rant, which supports the Wealth Formula. So I'm not ignoring people's questions, comments, observations. I can see you, but I'm just doing this for the podcast right now. I will take questions, comments, and observations on this topic as I finish this content, and then this content will be uploaded to the podcast for those of you who want to watch or listen to it. So this is what I want you to start doing. I want you to understand that if you decide you need to make more money, if you decide you want to start a business, if you decide that you should get yourself a little side hustle, you must do this if you want a chance of success. You must start with what you think is something you have some interest in. Now, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter what it is that you're interested in, because if there's one thing the internet has taught us, there's going to be other people interested in it as well. So I mentioned Pokemon cards, simply because that was used as an example. Sorry, I just pulled coffee down my front here. Oh, I have pulled coffee down my front. That was used as an example by Gary Vee. I know nothing about Pokemon cards. I don't care about Pokemon cards, but worse, even if somebody said, here's 500 of them, and I've categorized them into dead cheap, sell them as bundles, to the most the most expensive ones, I wouldn't really enjoy selling them online because I don't want to be a shopkeeper. You might love the idea. I could sell you a course which would teach you how to be a really powerful speaker. I could teach you how to go to gigs all over the world, as I have done, to stand on stages in front of audiences of up to 1,000 people, as I have done, how to be at the same time streamed to different countries, as I have done. and I could tell you exactly what you should be doing, what you should charge for it, how to market it, the process, the back end, the invoicing, all of the things you need to do. You would know how to do it. But unless you loved the idea of doing it, it would be a complete waste of your time and money. This is where people are going wrong. Do you remember a couple of years ago, all over this platform, you could buy, or people were trying to sell, here's a great way to make money, print t-shirts, print bags, print things. Just go online, find an image that's free, stick it on a t-shirt, and when people buy it, it goes through to the print shop, they will package it. You don't do a thing, you just sit back and collect the money. But it misses some things, doesn't it? How are you going to get the customers? You're going to have to talk. How are you going to advertise? You're going to have to talk to people. Where's the graphic or the image or the words going to come from? You're going to have to do that. And if you have no skill in that area, you're going to be wasting your time. Which is why for Find Your Passion, which is the title of this live today, and title of this podcast, if you're watching or listening to this a little bit later, I want you to do this. I'm going to bring this towards a close in a minute, and I will take your questions, comments, and observations. If you want to start a side hustle, a business, if you want to make more money, if you want to start getting yourself a little bit more cash in the bank, you want to start. If you want to, if for you it's not about your money, but it's about you hate your job and you want to do something you love doing, and you've got to find this thing that works for you. And ultimately, it might be that you don't need to make more money; you just need to spend what you've got more sensibly. Right? That could be the outcome. It could be that if you just stop spaffing your money everywhere, that you could live quite comfortably on your employed income. And then we come back to that third part. What's the meaning of your life? Do you love your job? Great. That's delightful. Do you have a hobby? Do you want your hobby to make money for you? If not, you just want more time to do your hobby. That could be the outcome for you. So I'm going to be bringing this to a close in just a moment. I will stay on and take your questions, your comments, your observations. But what I've been recording today is podcast number 3 of the Wealth Rant. This is for the Wealth Formula. And I'd invite you to check out my profile, my link tree. Just says Graham David. When you hit that, pops up, you've got some buttons you can select. You can get a reset on your spending. It's free, no credit card. You can join the community, that's free, no credit cards. You can join the WhatsApp, that's where I put out the first messages. Again, it's brand new. I think I set it up yesterday. I think it has 1 follower at the moment. I don't see your number or your name on that. You can just follow it. It's a one-way process. It allows me to tell you directly this thing's just come out. And if you do that, the benefit of being as part of the wealth formula, there are 6 hashtag channels on there. Now, it's not the tidiest laid out community, but hey, it's free and I'm still developing it. It's currently got, I counted it yesterday, 44 posts on it. It covers things like making money. It covers things like making longer term sensible decisions of investing, cutting your costs. It is, it's a little bit about how to build a profile on social media. Um, and it's really an opportunity to get some ideas. You get to post on there as well. You can reply, you can share ideas. What I'm looking to do, I've got 35 members of that at the moment. Um, as I can build that number up, then what I will do is I will then move towards a better model where you can all see the different chapters laid out clearly, where we'll offer courses, where there'll be additional downloads. There are 3 things you can download so far. There are a number of options available to you should you wish for them. I will also at that point offer a charging rate. So there will be a charge offered to you. The charge rate is going to be something ridiculous, but it will allow you to access a coaching program to help you develop your side hustle, your business, your extra idea to get to where you want it to be. So that's us for this podcast today.